but please believe we got a few people that's coming up the pipeline that's about to do some amazing things. So just want to say, God bless everybody out here who's hustling, working, and doing amazing things, and stay focused on your dreams. 'Cause we out here making moves, and we ready to help you. 380.
Yes, sir. And I appreciate you saying that, man. I recently made a post, not too. How long ago was that? Oh, that was actually a couple of days ago, where I said, if you're young and you are thinking about pursuing your dream, go ahead and do it now. Don't wait, because too many times people kind of get caught up in the whole, like the whole thing of, I'll wait and taking their sweet time, and then they look up and it's too late. You
Right.
feel me? So like, I as I get older, a lot of my contemporaries, like you tell, getting a little gray. But a lot of my contemporaries, they starting to have real conversations. I done had a couple of homeboys who quit, like a couple of homeboys that had like their own studios, and some of them who just didn't quite make it to where they wanted to go and everything. And now they're like, yo, fam, I think I'm gonna go ahead and hang it up. You know what I mean? Because as you get older, you get more responsibilities and everything else. So you want to try to do the best you can. But my biggest thing to every single one of you guys is please, please, please take those risks. Start that business, do whatever you want, because as you get older, you kind of get tired, man.
Listen, I'm gonna tell you the truth about the situation. We all been lied to back in the day, man. Because they'll sit there and tell you, man, your dream. You know what I'm saying? That's the plan A. There is no plan B. The truth of the matter is, if your plan A fails, your plan B should circumstantially be surrounding your plan A. So, for example, if you want to play in the NBA, but on the off chance you break an ankle, break a knee, or some craziness like that, you still want to be affiliated with the league. You know what I'm saying? So, what other skill sets do you have that can put you in a position of being around your dream and at the same time still creating financial stability? It's the same thing with music. I tell artists all the time, don't just be a rapper and expect that you're going to make it if you aren't doing what it takes, if you aren't studying the business, if you aren't actually out there working with vocal coaches to create a tone, presence, something that's going to captivate beyond the fact that you're just saying these words that you believe are clever and, in a sense, create this thing called a story. Because I'm like, authors do this all the time with no vocal behavior. They just give you a book, and that story that's being read is what you're taking in, ingesting, and saying is amazing. So if you can't compete at that level from a non-auditory standpoint, what makes you think you're going to compete from an auditory standpoint? You got to do what it takes. But on the off chance that it does not land, because it doesn't happen for everybody, you have to position yourself to still live that dream in some capacity. Can you produce? Can you engineer? Do you understand administration? I mean, it's like what, 5,000 plus different positions at any given moment that you can just go online and Google about the music industry. It's just a matter of finding where you can fit in when things don't necessarily take off to that top dream, but you can still be in the situation, radio, streaming, etc.
Yeah, for sure. Like, and it's always good to have a plan where you can sort of pivot and kind of get into. My mother used to say this all the time. She said, no matter what you want to accomplish, just keep in mind there's always a back door. Everyone else maybe try to get to the front door, the front window, but keep in mind there's always a back door. If you can't go in the back door, dig a tunnel. So that's always been my mentality, and it's helped me a lot. So
Yeah, culturally, we don't want to go through the back door because we've always been pushed to the back door. Man, use that to your advantage.
see, you just went deep there. Like now you made it all political. It didn't have to be. All right. I have my red wine here before I take a sip, because the Kelis situation is a rant. But before I do you want to get into anything first? Because the minute I sip this, I'm going to get. And keep in mind, whether you on the
Easy.
side of Kelis or Beyonce is fine. I'm talking to you guys that got on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Snapchat, email, blogs, and said all the wrong information, and you claim to be an industry insider. So let me know. We can get to it now.
Man, I mean, I tell them I'm always on the side of business when it comes down to it. I'm on the side of administration.
Okay,
I'm on
so
the
we get
side of
into it.
paperwork. Oh, we're going to get into it.
All right,
But
man.
at the
Let's go.
end of the
Let's go ahead.
day, but at the end of the day, you know me, I don't necessarily take one side or the other because I'm not specifically in their situation. But I can say on the premise, when we look at this situation, at the end of the day, we first have to look at contracts, and we also have to say who owns what.
Okay,
Because when we
stop right there.
uh,
It's. I do want to warn you. It's gonna be one of those episodes. So it
mhm.
seems like I'm getting into it a little bit much. It's telling me, hey, yo, Hänz, just chill a little bit. Just kind of fall back. But today's one of those episodes. Okay.
Oh no, most def.
You said a key thing there. You know what you said, Theo? Let me repeat what you said to me. You said it's all about seeing the contract.
You just Kevin Harted that right there.
It's all about seeing the contract. I don't care what y'all have to say about whether you agree with Kelis, whether you agree with Beyoncé. It doesn't matter. Because you don't know what the agreement that Kelis signed when she was 17. Matter of fact, if you're watching on YouTube, let me go YouTube or whatever you're listening to. Let's get into it right now. I'm gonna look up some stuff right now. You know why? Because I have Google. The same tools you guys have, I have right now. Let's look into it. Kelis album Star Trek.
Listen,
Now,
before you jump into that, I just gotta ask, when the last time you watched the Kevin Hart skit? Because you really channeling right now.
let me go in right now. Okay, I'm a freight train. Let me go in right now. Okay, all right. Tasty is the third studio album by American singer Kelis, released on December 5th, 2003. All right, cool. How old is Kelis? Let's look this
The
up.
real age?
I'm no, I'm not. I'm looking. Don't do that. Don't do that.
Listen, you know how
No,
the
no, no,
industry
no,
is.
no, no, no. We're not doing that. We know too much. We gotta chill. We got a brand. Don't do that. All right. So Kelis was born. I won't say the number, but let's see. This is 2003. So we're gonna say 2003 minus 1979, right? Okay. Let's see. 2003 minus 1979. Okay, cool. So, according to my math and according to Wikipedia, because again, we don't know her real age. We're not supposed to. You're supposed to ask the lady what her age is. Okay.
True
Peep
story.
game. She was 24 years old when the album came out, which means she probably signed 20, 21 or whatever. Okay, cool. Theo, let me ask you a question. When you were 24 years old, did you know what the term perpetuity meant?
Me?
Yes.
Yes. Me
You did?
specifically,
Okay.
yes. Specifically because at that point I was in school for music business. But I'm an anomaly in that particular situation.
Got it. Sorry, guys. I apologize if you hear that background noise. I'm trying my best to keep that clean. So, because you're in the music business, right? Okay, cool. Now, would you say that the information you got when you were 24 years old at that time was
Mm.
built upon information that was out previously?
When you say information is out pre, what
I
do
can
you
already
mean?
answer that question. We're gonna say yes because I'm not doing this with you. Let me go ahead and I'm not doing. I see what you're trying to do. I'm
I'm just
afraid
trying.
train today.
I'm just trying to make sure I get it right for the internet.
No, I'm afraid train today. I got it. I got it. I got it. Theo, the reason why we know what we know today is because people came out before us like Big John Platt, Jay-Z, Jay
Right.
Brown, Diddy. I mean, we can go all the way down the list. Clarence Avant,
Right.
Dre, right? All these people said, hey, there's more to this business than just selling records, right? And
Right.
they've been saying that for a while. So as more industry insiders, quote unquote, came out, they built upon the information, and now we have a plethora of sources to check that information. Do you think Kelis at that time, 2005, we'll say 2003 when she signed her deal, right? We're just guessing here. When she signed her deal, I think she signed it even before. I heard someone said 17. So let's say 17. Let's go with that theory. Do you think Kelis at 17 years old had the resources like I Do Blog Music, Rap Rehab, Wendy Day, the Coalition,
Oh,
rap, do you think she had? Did you think she had information? She had.
I
She
mean,
could just go to the
it's
website.
circumstantial. If we're going at the theory that she signed at 17, considering when this album was released and considering when the internet came out and when this stuff really took off, I would say the resources that we have that she had, no, not at that particular time.
Okay, and that is my point. So I'm gonna, like I said, I'm gonna take it bit by bit by bit, and then I promise we'll get to the end. Okay. For all you people out there who were saying things like, "Well, Kelis should have signed a contract." Really? Let's say she signed the contract. Cool. Whether it was 17, 20, whenever she decided to sign it. Okay, let me dive deep into this. Everything is a
Mm-hmm.
mindset, right? The reason why we are making money in the business was project management, doing consulting, and I'll get into that later, music production or whatever, is we have a mindset. Matter of fact, hold on, let me back up. Theo, you remember the conversation we had yesterday? You said something that was very, very profound. You said we keep forgetting that guys like us have been
Mm-hmm.
conditioned to check sources like Billboard, Music Business Worldwide,
Right.
all the different resources in the morning like it's a newspaper,
Right.
and most people are not. Right?
Right.
Do you know the reason why we are?
Oh, that's because we came through the business in certain respects.
Exactly. That's my point. So for everyone who keeps saying, well, Kelis should have known, it's like, fam, whether she was 17, 20, I don't care if she was 30. If she was not privy to the information that we have now, you cannot say that. I don't know too many 17-year-olds or 24-year-olds or 20-year-olds that would have the mindset to be able to read a contract and go, oh, well, this needs to change, this shit needs to change, this needs to change,
Right.
with a entertainment lawyer that's not from Interscope, that's not from the label. That's
And
my
nine times out
problem
of 10,
with
they're
what
going to
y'all
put
saying.
one with you. And most people don't realize when you go into that conversation, if you don't have a lawyer representation going in, they're going to get you a lawyer, but that lawyer represents the label, which in case represents the label's interests. So out
Period.
the gate, you in a situation.
Period, man. Like I need y'all to understand that. You guys are. Oh wait, hold on. It said I'm seeing 1998 now. Let's see, Virgin Records. Let's see, produced by Neptunes, released by Virgin Records, 1999. Oh, then she was 17. It says, well, according to Wikipedia, right? Because Wikipedia is always right. Then she was 17 when she signed a record deal. Are you? Do you mean to tell me I'm supposed to sit here and persecute someone who signed a record deal at 17 years old and say you should have known this? Are you serious?
First thing I'm going to say is you saw how they got Prince. So you know they can get anybody.
And Prince told he said himself, rest in peace, yo, I can't be played, and that's what happened.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm done. Continue what you were saying, Theo. I told you, like, today I'm on one. It's been a while since we did a podcast. I'm on one. Please
Nah,
continue.
it's all good. That's all good. I mean, but the reality of the situation is, as you stated, she signed a contract, and in most instances, at this, we can't even say at this age, but what we do know is negotiation power. If you don't have negotiation power going into a label deal, then by default, you're going to take their terms because they're presenting your dreams in their hands, which means most cases you're going to lose one, creative control, and two, access to that masters with regards to ownership. Now, in that same sense, you do have that PA, your literary work, you know what I'm saying, provided you didn't waive rights and or anything in regards to a contract in accordance. So let's just say normal circumstance, she has her PA, they have the masters. In a situation like this, people keep saying, oh, Beyonce, Beyonce, Beyonce. Beyonce is a brand. Beyonce is a business. She has people behind her in a normal circumstance who would be taking care of these things on her behalf. Same thing with Kelis. Kelis is a business and a brand. Someone would be taking care of this on her behalf. Now, why she wasn't notified before the record released, that's a whole circumstance with regards to who owns what pertaining to the record. And based on who owns what memos were sent out with regards to that conversation. I mean, we see these things pop up in the news all the time where samples go live based on who owns what with regards to an estate. Is the masters owned by a label? Is it owned by a private fund, a hedge fund, etc.? You know what I'm saying? In those instances, when you start saying, okay, we need to get something cleared, we need to contact X, Y, and Z who owns this particular product. It's a matter of them contacting the business. It isn't necessarily them always contacting the artist. An artist may be added in the memo
Can
in
we
that
get into that?
instance.
Can we get into
Oh,
that?
definitely. Drop that in.
To that whole thing? Okay, we can now, and you guys can't see it on the screen, but I'll get into it. So another thing that was said was Beyonce should have contacted Kelis. So I'm going to go, and this is where I go into both sides because as much as I'm a businessman, I'm an artist. I can't help it. I'm going to go in as an artist first. Kelis, if you were upset that Beyonce didn't contact you first about that sample, just as a heads up, right? Whether she believes she owned the sample or right the license to the sample, whatever, doesn't matter. If you felt that Beyonce should have contacted you first, I understand exactly what you're saying. And here's the reason why. Kelis isn't coming from like, I don't even think it's so much ego driven. I think what it was more of, hey, Beyonce, you're a black woman in this business. I'm a black woman in this business. We're formerly in this business. Because I think she drops some music every now and then.
Mm-hmm.
You know how tough it is for us. Show me some love and hey, do you want to let you know, girl, I'm about to drop the music. I understand that. I understand that Kelis, in her position, is very aware that she was a prototype for what you see in industry a lot, as far as like sort of like the black rocker girl and doing like the sort of the quote unquote weird hippie-ish type music that you see
Mm-hmm.
now. We totally get it. On the business side, no, she didn't have to contact you. And we're going to go into why. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go right back over here. I told you today. So we're going to use Wikipedia. I know people say, oh, Wikipedia's not, that's fine. Let's just take a look here. All right. This album was released actually, before we do that, there's two different types of rights to your music. Theo, tell me what are the two different rights to your music?
Oh, you talking about PA and SR with regards to copyright?
Break that down. Break that down. Because there's master, there's copyright.
Oh
Let's
yeah.
okay. Break that
So
down for
you
me.
so you have an SR, the master recording, also known as a phono record, which is generally owned by the label and or whoever's bankrolling your project. Most instances, unless you're an indie artist. Then you have a PA pertaining to what's called your literary work or the composition, which in short terms just means your lyrics, what you wrote. So in the interest of when you look at a record, especially in registration, when it basically is considered a full-on composition or musical work in that instance, you're basically saying it has two components: the component that you created as the songwriter, the component that was made from the beat maker and or producer, which is the music itself. Both of these things are put together, but in that instance we're looking at four copyrights. Now two of them are exact same: a PA with regard to the master recording, and in that same sense we're looking, a PA with regards to the literary work, and SR with regards to the master
Okay.
recording.
Let's. So I got you. So again, like I said, this episode, I'm not here to go on Kelis. I'm not here to go into Beyonce because I like I said, I get both sides, so I can't sit here and be like, you know, whoop the whoop, whatever, right? So
Oh,
that's not what I'm here for. Go
real
for it.
quick, just to
Yeah,
clear something, I said four. That was a misspoke. Apologies for somebody who might get online and be like, wait a minute, it's three, as in two PAs and one final SR.
got you. So, and next time I have to set it up to where you can see my screen. So there's two different types, right? So there's, as Theo said, there's master recording and there's a composition. For all of you out there that say like, oh, Kelis, the reason why Beyonce can do it is because Kelis doesn't own the master recording. There's nothing to do with it. Like that's not that we're you're talking about the wrong part. So let me actually break this down. So as Theo said, right? So let me look this up. All right. In business, a master recording is the official original recording of a song, sound, or performance, SR. Also referred to as masters, it is the source from which all later copies are made. Beyonce didn't repackage Kelis's music and sell it out there. So it doesn't matter if Kelis owns a master or not. She sampled the record. She didn't sit there and take Kelis's music as is and redistribute it through Ivy Park. So for you guys out there who keep saying, oh, it's because Kelis didn't own her masters and that's the only reason why, that is false. That has nothing to do with this at all. It has nothing to do with the master. We can go ahead and clear that up. So just want to make sure I get that. What you're talking about is who owns the composition, right? Because she sampled The composition. By the way, Theo, have you heard the album yet?
Hey, I ain't go front. I gave it a quick listen on the Beyonce tip, and it's banging from what I've heard so far.
See, we can't accept that. You got to listen to that. That album.
Oh no,
That album is
don't get
fire.
me wrong. Oh, don't get me wrong. When I say a quick listen, I just mean I'm going back. But at this particular time, I'm dived into this school stuff, so I'm a little, how do you say, detached from all new albums dropping to about 3 days from
Okay. So, what we're talking about here is who owns the composition? Who owns that? So, what was the song that was sampled? Let me see. Let me Google this again. I keep forgetting. Kelis, Beyoncé, sample. Let's look that up.
Oh, real quick while you're doing that, let's
Okay.
start letting cats know because I know we keep saying Wikipedia. What we gonna do
Energy.
just to kind of put people up on game? There's a joint called Jackster that we probably gonna start jumping into because they actually have a lot of accreditation and information pertaining to these particular records, and it's an industry source site. So that way we can go ahead and switch them up, get people in the conversation to where they really need to be, just in case people start hitting us, man, Wikipedia, we don't know if it's 100% correct.
That's fine.
Just give them a double back source.
That's fine. I'm looking for energy. Give me a second here. There we go. Okay. Is it? No, that's the album. What's the song? I need to know the name of the song. It says here the sample appears in the song Energy. No, but what is the sample though? I guess who sampled? Who sampled? Let's see. Beyonce Energy. Okay, cool. Yeah. See top hit. Let's see. Kelis. It samples Milkshake. Okay, cool. So that was on the first album, right?
Let's see. Let me swing back here to Jackson.
Oh, I got it.
As soon as you said, I'm like, well, let's swing back and look at that track list.
Milkshake. Okay, let's go.
Yeah,
All
that
right,
was on tasting.
Okay, here are the credited writers: Pharrell Williams, Chad Hugo. You heard me right?
Mm-hmm. Which
So
is unfortunate.
Let me say that again. The credited
Unfortunate.
writers for Milkshake. Let me go up in here again. For Milkshake, Pharrell Williams and Chad Hugo. Those are the
Now,
songwriters.
people are going to completely miss what you're saying with this one. You
Okay,
got to give them more.
I can break it down. This right here just told me that no matter what y'all say, Kelis, the artist, the
It's
singer.
wrong.
What's her real name? I want to make sure I get this right. Kelis Rogers Mora is not even credited on the song as either producer or songwriter.
You know what's unfortunate? So I told you I was on Jackster, right? So as I'm scrolling down, they do have her listed, but as what's called an associated performer, as well as a vocalist.
Yeah.
Which makes me wonder how her radio situation went back then. Because if that's the case, and she's not even credited as a writer, then there's a whole lot of money that was missed on this.
Or that was just per agreement.
I mean, on her behalf, it was missed, but it would have been associated per the agreement.
It's not missed if you put ink to paper.
But remember, her 17 not knowing better in her mind.
No, I understand. That's why I addressed it at the beginning. I understand. But if she is not credited as a writer or she's the associate vocalist, that means she was a work for hire more than likely. Of course, this is all theories, but based on the information that we're saying here that you can look up online, she doesn't own the composition. She doesn't get any rights to it.
She doesn't own anything.
She doesn't own anything. You can go look this up yourself. Theo has his own source. I have my own source. It's right there. So for all you fans out there that keep saying, "Oh, Beyonce should have called Kelis," Kelis doesn't even own it.
Which is unfortunate.
And for personnel on Wikipedia, because of course we know it's not that accurate. Neptune's production, Andrew Drew Colbin recording, Daniel Bentecourt recording assistant, Phil Tan mixing, Tom Olmstead mixing assistant, Chris Athens mastering. She's not even credited as one of the main personnel. What are we talking about?
And I'll tell you just to kind of source it back and forth. What you're saying is the exact same thing I'm seeing on Jackster right now.
So what are we talking about? Let's go. As a matter of fact, let's go to Genius. And again, I'm not going at Kelis. I want to make sure I made that super clear. I'm not going at Kelis. That's not what I'm here for at all.
So we love them both.
We love them both, but I want y'all to understand something. You can look this up yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Credits produced by Neptunes, written by Chad Hugo, Pharrell Williams. As he mixed that label, copyright Airster Records. Oh, if you really want me to go down the rabbit hole, I can.
Nah, that's ugly.
I can really go down the rabbit. Matter of fact, let's do
So
it.
Arista
I'm
owns
on
the
I'm on red
masters.
one right now. Let's do it.
Well, at least that's the last person we known who's owned the masters in that situation.
Let's do it. Let's go into Arista. Let's really break this down so I can really understand what it's like in this business. Let's do that.
And this is why paperwork is everything.
Kelis, Star Trek Arista. Okay, cool. Theo,
In
if I
that
can't,
sense, she's technically signed to Neptunes.
if I can't remember, wait, did Arista get bought out 2005, 2006? I'm not an industry insider. I don't know this, but didn't they get bought out? Who bought out Arista?
Let's take a look on Google.
Let's
Oh,
see.
it's going to be one of them big names.
Oh wait, hold up. What you get? You may beat me to it.
Oh no, I'm looking at this. I just saw someone said 4 acquisitions. I was like, oh man. You know, we know we can't drop information without it just pulling up on Google. We got to give it to them on the Google so they can see it.
Where is it? Where is it? Yeah. You keep saying who bought them out? Who bought them out? CC acquisition. Did it get? Tell me who bought them out, guys. Who bought them out? Looking. Let's see. Oh, sold 50% to RCA Records. Okay, let's stop right there. Let's stop.
Hey, by the way, per Google, when we say who owns Arista Records, it says Arista is an American record label owned by Sony Music Entertainment, a subsidiary of Sony Corporation of America.
That's the other 50. Yeah, I'm looking at that. The other 50%. Right? No, is RCA under? Who you guys under? No, you guys are under Sony. Duh. Right?
So Sony owns 100% on 2 breaks, basically.
Okay, let's stop right there. So as we go down this rabbit hole, you start to see how this is getting further away from Pharrell, right? You guys are seeing that, right? Okay. So let's say, for instance, in that interview on the Breakfast Club where Pharrell Williams said, hey guys, it's crazy to own somebody's masters. Right? Y'all, you remember that interview, Theo? And let me slow down if I'm going too fast, if I'm saying too much or whatever else. Shout out to T Jizzle. He just said, we learned in school to read before signing and to have legal representation before dealing with documents. 100%.
Yep.
However, TJ, this is a 17-year-old we're talking about, but you are right. So
I blame the parents.
Well, I'm not even going that deep. I want to go into the business. I want to go into why people that I know on Facebook and on Twitter and TikTok who claim to know the business just as well as I do are putting out bad information. I want to know how come you guys can look this up. I just dispelled this whole thing in 4 minutes. Let's go down the rabbit hole. Okay, cool. RCA. Owned by Sony. Okay, cool. So that album is 50% owned by Sony. The other is probably in the scope with, Pharrell and Chad. Okay, cute, cool. You guys keep saying Pharrell should have gave her the a percentage of that record, right? Okay. If you are a songwriter or a producer and you made the beat, did the arrangement, wrote the song, did the vocal production. Theo, do you have a vocal producer listed on that list? Can you check for me, sir?
Let me double check. Hold on 1 second. Let's see here. Composer, producers. Nope, only got the Neptunes listed as
So
producers.
that means for sure that the Neptunes made that out. They made that record from top to bottom. Kelis was not involved, allegedly, was not involved at all in the creation process for that. She came, she did vocals, which probably tells me that that was probably a reference track because as Pharrell does more and more interviews, he keeps dropping hints on how he was trying to get stuff to Prince and all these other artists.
Mhm.
We're not gonna go
Now,
there.
what we'll say is we're saying this in speculation. We of course don't know actually what happened in the studio by circumstance if she did write anything or not. I mean, because from what we're seeing per articles, there is a reference where she's saying that she got slided out of credits on different projects. So there may be a whole secondary story to this, but for what we're seeing,
But okay, cool. If that's the case, then why is she not going after Pharrell? Why is she going after Beyonce? Okay, this is. Let me say this, and then, like I said, Kelis, if you feel that way, you have every right to feel the way. That is your. When Milkshake comes on, we know that that is your record. There's no question about that. I was sort of somebody going outside when that record was sitting, and that record's playing everywhere. I understand that. However, why are you going after Beyonce, not going after Pharrell? This is clout chasing to me. That's my only qualm. If she feels what she feels, she has every right. But that seems clout chasing to me. Now listen. Yesterday I went on IG Live. I was cooking up a whole bunch of beats for this client of mine that's out in Jersey, right? This artist out in Jersey paid for a pack. I'm cooking up the pack, and during the live, I said, "Hey," I was like, "Oh yeah, I'm working on five." So I'm looking at my whiteboard over here. I'm like, "Yo, I'm working on five different joints." And as I'm getting ready to say the first name, I said, "Oh, that's none of y'all business." Most of the stuff in the music business, the reason why you guys don't know the ins and outs of it is because it's none of your business. It's really
mm-hmm.
none of our business what happened between Pharrell and Kelis. That is between them. That we are just music consumers. I just want the record like that. Y'all keep that behind closed doors and do your thing. I don't need to. You can show me the lesson, sure, but fam, I don't need to know all the dirty drama behind it. We don't. Okay.
But it makes money though. That's the trick. Drama
Is it?
sells, just like sex sells.
But is it like she's not getting a cut of the record? Her streams are gonna go up,
No,
but
but it's a
they
matter. It's a matter of relevancy. I mean, because and at the same time, what we also have to remember is now there's this thing called court of public opinion.
no,
You know what I'm saying?
but that's what I'm saying. Not to cut you off, but that's what I'm saying earlier is that this is cloud chasing to me.
True, but I mean, at the end of the day, when you walk into a situation and you like, I got two parties involved, you have to consider if I only got one shot at this, who am I going to go after? The big fish or the biggest fish?
But
Who's
you're
going to
going,
get me the most results?
but you're going after the big fish that has nothing to do with this.
This is also true. But again, like you said, it's a matter of opportunity and exposure to an issue. She could go after Pharrell, but that could die off. She go after Beyonce after the record just dropped. That thing is going to carry for the simple fact that that record is going to burn hot.
And that's my thing. Like you're, anyway, that's neither here nor there. I wouldn't be surprised if 15 years from now we find out that Kelis actually did get published and they actually get a percentage of that record, that they did this on purpose per
Mm.
Pharrell or whoever's suggestion, because this is through Interscope. If you study Interscope, they're all about controversy and drama, right? So
Drama sells.
I wouldn't be surprised if Kelis actually is getting money off of this, but they did this on purpose to drive up the revenue stream. That's neither here
Mm-hmm.
nor there. I'm going. That's for you conspiracy theorists. That's not for me to guess.
uh,
Going back, I want to go into the RCA thing. I'm not done. Like I'm not done with this at all. Okay. So Ericsson got bought out by Sony, right? So why is she not going after the president of RCA?
I mean,
It's
to be
what
truthfully
I'm asking.
honest, to be truthfully honest, the way this is written up per contract, if she officially signed everything as it is, as we see it documented, she technically wouldn't have a case because she has to have some form of proof, something that could counteract what has been signed.
Ding ding
Otherwise,
ding
all
ding
she
ding
has is
ding ding
public
ding ding
opinion.
ding 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 ding. You just said it. Say it one more time. She wouldn't have a what?
Case, not with the way everything is signed and presented.
We're done. We can kill this. We can kill this whole thing right. We're done. She doesn't have a case. Period. Is it messed up that she signed a contract and she didn't know? Yes. Is it messed up that Fro, you know, again, we don't know. We don't know the bad dealings. He could have
Whatever
inside or whatever.
situation happened.
Whatever. That's none of our business. But at the end of the day, I'm talking to you, you so-called industry insider. And that, I'm not gonna say what I want to say, but Theo, I've said it 100 times. I'm not gonna say it on here, but this is this is my. Let me catch myself and try to be PC. This is my qualm with the people who claim that they know the business. A lot of you all are not in the music business. I am in the music business. A lot of you all are just in the music industry.
Mm-hmm.
I'm out in LA now. A lot of y'all hitting me up now, telling me, "Hey, yo, let's." I get it. Let's catch up. But a lot of you all are just here in the industry. You want to go to the parties. You want to go to the mixers.
Creative side.
You want to go to the brand. You want to take the pictures. Fam, I get it. Do you? I'm not here to knock it, but what I have a problem with is for some of you all who have the position that you have, and you're going on Twitter, Facebook, Snapchat, TikTok, YouTube, and all this other stuff, and you're spewing out bad information when, as I just showed you on here, per 3 different sources, that everything you said is wrong. I just disproved everything you said. Like that. My issue is you didn't go do the same thing. See, okay. When I look at
But
my
you know why?
OGs, yeah, go ahead.
Them numbers is gonna drop. If you see a situation like this and you have a following and you can attach your name to this conversation per your following, and people, as you stated, believe you are what you say you are, thus you are credible, and you weigh in, what's going to happen? If someone picks up like the Breakfast Club or Hip Hop DX or so and so said such and such on Twitter, they get a repost,
Fam,
they numbers start flying up, even if it's bullshit. Excuse
fam,
my French, you too.
fam. We're not monetized yet. Go off. Listen, let me. You just said it right there. You kind of tied it into my point, but you just said it right there. It's clout chasing. You got caught up in the moment and you want to say something. Okay, but if you're gonna say something, speak truth to power. Like be honest. Like speak truth. What I thought I was gonna see on Facebook, because what the straw that brought the camel's back was my homegirl Madly, who actually hired me to be intern back at Terminus Studios back in New York. She hired me to be intern for Alto and Y that sells all that boutique, like those old compressors and stuff. Like if you that you will buy or whatever. She said, like, I can't believe so many of you guys claim to be in the industry, but you're saying bad information. Then Lab Ox, who produced with 50 and a whole bunch of other people, and Yolanda Adams or whatever else, is just like, let me tell you how a sample is actually cleared. Guys, I think I said it before. If not, let me say this. Let me tell you about the time. Let me tell you how I know how a sample is cleared. Back in 2014. It's getting ready to release a beat tape called Socialite. Sorry. And there's a sample from one of my favorite songs ever. It's called Moments of Love. It's from a band called Art of Noise. And I really, 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 really like that sample. Right? If you haven't heard, if you don't know what I'm talking about, Google it. The minute you hear, you go, oh, I know what that sample is. Right.
If they don't know it, they might too be young to be in the conversation. I ain't gonna front it.
All good. All good. Matter of fact, if you're a young producer and you're listening to an artist, go YouTube it. You're gonna sample it. Already know because it's that good. And so I had that sample and a track I was getting ready to put in the beat tape. So I said, let me do business the right way. So I got on the phone and I found that. First I found out that the record is still owned and licensed by Universal Music Group. So I said, oh, I'll do the right thing. So I called somebody, say, hey, what do you need? I said, hey, I have a sample. I'm trying to get cleared. She said, no problem. So she put me through to this long queue. I guess, samples I was trying to get cleared or no one wanted to pick up the phone. I was on the phone. I was on the hold for like a long time. I was on the hold almost 2 hours, right? Just sat with my iPhone 4, set that thing down on the table and start reading stuff while I was chilling. Somebody picks up the phone, say, hey, trying to get the sample cleared. They say, okay, cool, send us your email, send us the record, and then we'll send stuff back. Took about 3 weeks for me to hear back after a lot of following up. They send me back an email. Hey Hans, thank you for sampling a record. Because this sample makes up the bulk of your record, we need 80% of all proceeds
Mhm.
for this sample. I said, excuse me, 80%. I posted that bad boy on SoundCloud. I'm not playing with y'all.
But that's what people be missing when they say you sample something and you don't get things cleared. They could own your record because it's a matter of utilization within record. If you said, if your record in the bulk from a production standpoint is this sample, then realistically, do you have a record or do you just have their stuff repackaged? In
And
which
that
case, they're now asking for the money.
and that's really what it comes down to. Okay. I didn't call moments of I didn't call the art of noise. I didn't call them. I didn't WhatsApp them. I look for who owns the right to this music. That's UMG, Universal Music Group. I didn't call the art of noise. So if that's the case, and they're much bigger than I am, they're still making money off of all their catalog. Much more money.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm the small fry, if I was the small, if I'm like the producer slash DJ putting out this record, right? This dance record, and I'm not going to the bigger fish. Why would someone who is as Goliath as Beyonce call Kelis? Help me
Mm-hmm.
understand the logic. But see, I understand the business. Apparently, y'all don't. Theo, go
Let's
ahead and take
see.
it away.
The trick to that is what they call relationships. Because at the end of the day, when you're at that stage, you have a relationship with someone, you're in the mindset of, oh, well, they'll contact me for X, Y, and Z. But once they realize you have no ownership stake in this, regardless if you have a relationship, them contacting you does nothing. You know what I'm saying? I can say like, yo, Kelis, I want to use this record, but at best, the hope that could be is that she contacts the label and saying, yo, so and so wants to use the record. Of course, they're gonna say yes regardless because it's Beyonce. You don't say no to Beyonce. But at the end of the day, it's just the principle. If it wasn't Kelis and Beyonce, if it was Joe and Joe Smo, it's the same circumstance. Joe Smo and Joe is best friends. They was in the same rap group, but 5 years later they dropping independent albums. Yeah, you could contact Joe, you know what I'm saying you want to use this, but on the off chance that Joe Smo didn't write the record he was singing on, you contacting them is only going to go so far. Because at the end of the day, if he says yes, but the people who actually own the record from a PA and SR standpoint say no, and realistically speaking, we're talking about from an SR because you're talking about sampling the master recording. So that's a primary in this instance. If they say no, your relationship is pointless because they have no dog in that fight. All they did was sing over the record. Different for rappers, you know what I'm saying? In most cases, rappers write their own verses, but we have heard one off situations, you know what I'm saying? Even on hit records. But it's just the principle of who owns what. And that's why we have to pay attention to the paperwork because the paperwork tells you everything. That's just like on what they tell you when you go to school for music business or when you read books about music business. One of the most common examples you'll see is Dolly Parton and Whitney Houston, with regards to Dolly Parton writing songs for Whitney Houston that she sung over. In which case, if we look at it from a radio standpoint at that time, any song that she would have officially wrote that Whitney had no pen in and she just sang, from an instance of a PRO who's collecting those royalties, guess who's not getting paid? Whitney. You know what I'm saying? Because they're, and in that same time, what people misunderstand is that in the US, there's no such thing as broadcasting rights for payment to performers.
Listen,
So Dolly gets paid.
let me go ahead and keep it a buck. It's fake outrage. That's all this is. Y'all not gonna say y'all not gonna text or I'm sorry, not text. You guys are not gonna tweet Beyonce. You guys are not gonna tweet Pharrell. You're not gonna say nothing to Chad. You're not gonna say anything to RCA. You're not gonna say anything to Interscope. This is all fake outrage. You guys are just jumping on the media frenzy that was caused by Kelis addressing Beyonce unnecessarily, and that was it. And now you are out here spewing bad information, and some of y'all have sold way more records than I have.
Hey, yo, I'm going to let you go off real quick. I have to pause for like 40 seconds in a situation called parenting, and I'll be right back.
No, do you think?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. Let me go check the chat. Yeah, man. I just want y'all to have like this real information, man. Yeah, man. Like I said, I'm over the fake outrage. I just need y'all to This is understand like fam. There's the music business, and then there's the music industry. And if you're a young gun, you watching this, whatever, please go understand the business of it. And you trust me, everyone I know that understand the business make money. The reason why I'm able to make money without like a major record deal or publishing anything like that, because I understand the business. That's really all this is. If you understand the business, you're good. And stop going out here, saying fake information. And also at the same time, if you're listening, come over here and like I said, just look this up. Look up this information. Like I said, I cited Wikipedia. I know Wikipedia is not the best, but that's all this is, man. That's all we're doing here. All right, let's get to some other stuff, and Theo will catch up. All right, we're gonna address this last thing, and then we're gonna go ahead and just wrap this up. But the last thing I want to touch base on fairly quickly is this whole thing with Snapchat partnering with DistroKid. So Snapchat is going to pay DistroKid artists monthly grants up to $100,000 via New Sounds Creative Fund. So this is on Music Business Worldwide. Like I said, this is one of the one of the sources I check all the time. And also to Theo's point as well, if you are trying to like understand more about the business, the key thing I would say is get into the habit of checking Billboard, Music Business Worldwide, and all these different places. And like I said, if you understand the business, you can make money. Theo, you back with us? I'm getting to
Yes, sir.
So let's lightly touch base on this whole thing with DistroKid and Snapchat, and then we're gonna wrap it up.
Yeah, I'm telling people right now, social media about to go off. We said this last year. Social media platforms are about to become the new labels, specifically because they are targeting these indie artists before they blow up, before labels catch them, and they're offering them these forms of deals with regards to licensing their music. And the benefit to them before they get to a label is the fact that they grow their fan base. They have the exposure. Labels are marketing systems. They want to get you to the fans. You're already on the platform that has the fans. So what's more viable to you nowadays at 18 to 19? Label wants to put you in a contract where they own your masters, or sign this deal with TikTok where you own everything you drop, but they're licensing your content. They're putting up ads, et cetera, et cetera. Basically doing similar things that Spotify would do for you on your behalf as a major artist. Out the gate, you're going to go with TikTok until you can find a viable deal with a label. So in this situation with Snapchat, it's no different. Snapchat has their own situation, signed with major labels, their own distribution arm going on. And now dealing with indie artists, they're putting in a whole new situation, basically saying, yo, if you meet our criteria, we're now going to set up a grant where we're giving you monthly funds. If they scroll down, they talk about the reference with regards to 5,000 per record that's going up, talking about 20 records that they're running a month, but they don't have the criteria listed in this article. So we're going to have to kind of see what that situation looks like. But the big takeaway from this situation is that Snapchat's not the only person, and they're not the first to do this type of situation. They are quite literally one of many that's going to be presenting itself as the market changes, as more social media platforms come up, as new platforms with regards to distribution come into the conversation, as new markets open up to the U.S. territory, like what's going on in the Middle East right now. You know what I'm saying? What's going on with Afro tech, Afro punk, you know what I'm saying? Afro beats, you know what I'm saying? Excuse me if I butcher this, but Apanano, you know what I'm saying? With regards to music from
I'm
the
a
Afro
piano.
Piano. Thank you.
I'm
I
working
hadn't
on
heard.
I'm working on I'm a piano record right now. But yeah,
Yeah.
I got you. I
You
got you.
know what I'm saying? So it's like what's going on in the rest of the world. These social media systems are tapping in. Labels are catching wind of what's going on, and they're setting up offices in these secondary markets. You know what I'm saying? In these markets like Israel that you don't necessarily know about with regards to their music. And they're tapping in with their artists and blowing up market spaces, or at least attempting to blow up the market space before social media can grab onto them. So it's an arms race right
Let me pull up something real quick, and then we'll wrap this up. I want to pull up something. Okay, give me a second here. Let me find it. And also, if you guys are tuning in or listening to the podcast on like your favorite DSP. We definitely appreciate the love you guys are giving us. Okay. So let me say this last thing. All right. So this is a snippet that I posted on my Facebook page. UTA, who's a United Talent Agency, they also manage 21 Savage. So if you want to book 21 Savage for your next venue, UTA, UnitedTalentedAgency.com, is FYI, has secured fresh funding from private equity firm EQT as part of a strategic partnership aimed at accelerating UTA's growth trajectory, according to a joint release issued on Monday, July 18th. Let's stop right there. Let me go ahead and bring this home. An agency where you can go online and book 21 Savage just got funding from a private equity firm from EQT. Who's EQT? EQT Corporation. EQT Corporation is a leading independent natural gas producer with an evolutionary focus on our future. Yes, you heard that right. An oil and gas conglomerate is investing in the music business. And yet, somehow, someone keeps telling you, there's no money in the music business. There's no money in the music business. Yet, producers are still making six figures from B-Stars alone. Some of us who barely use B-Stars are making a lot of money from doing production independently. Project managers are making what?
I'm gonna help you out right now and give you a fact point. Check your messages. Click on that last link I just sent you.
Okay.
With regards to Music Wizards Worldwide, that title, and this is from April when they reported on this.
Okay.
When you click on this and bring this up on the big screen, this right here is going to show exactly all them people who keep saying there's no money in the music business.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? From an indie aspect, Spotify is going to show them right here why they keep saying it.
Nearly 80% of artists on Spotify have fewer than 50 monthly listeners. Oh, that's a totally different conversation.
But you're right though. There's no money. If you got less than 50 monthly listeners, you have no money in that industry. You can't defeat the data. The data is there.
We'll say that for next time. But what I want to wrap this up with, because I see where you're going, but you're opening up a rabbit hole. Stop listening to your friends who are not in the business. That's pretty much what I want you to get from this episode. Stop listening to the barbershop conversations, the salon conversations, the conversations on the train, on the bus, at work. Stop, the intern who just stop listening to those people. They don't know what they're talking about.
And stop listening to the people. Be careful. I say stop. Be careful about who you listen to in the industry. Find out their position.
Cite the source. I have a whole video on TikTok and YouTube where I say, hey, you can Google and find out who's really in the business. Stop listening to people who are not in the business. This isn't hard. There's a reason why so many artists keep running to the same brick wall. I know you guys see it. Oh man, I just got. It's like, fam, you see what's going on. You would think it's kind of strange that there's this many artists releasing 60,000 new songs a day on Spotify. We're talking about Monday through Monday, 60,000 new records hitting that DSP alone every single day, and yet only a few are making it out to where they can do music full time. Full time can be they only making $30,000 a year. Mm-hmm. You don't think that's strange? Stop listening to bad information. You can cite this. You can look this up. Like I said, I went on Wikipedia. If you don't trust Wikipedia, that's totally fine. There's music journals, there's trade magazines, there's websites, there's all kind of stuff. I think episode 2, 3, or 4, I said subscribe to Billboard Business. Go learn this stuff so you can go make the money. I'm not never mind. I'm not gonna get into it, but
I'll give you one easier. If you got an iPhone or an iPad, open the news app, use that search function, and type in music business. You'll find all types of varying sources as applies to information. Like we said before, check out your sources like Music Business Worldwide. Look for credible books. I mean, at the end of the day, I'm the first person to tell anybody, look, if you want a full round conversation, go to school and go get an education. Let's be all the way frank about it. But if that's not your wave, then you need to check your resources. Like you say, you can't just listen to willy-nilly everybody in the conversation. Because I'll be the first to tell someone I'm not the biggest name in the industry, but I'll cite, I'll position, I'll tell you everything with regards to my information, how you can go get your information. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, you have to be a resource hog. It's crazy, for example, how artists keep saying, I just want to be a content creator. I just want to create music. I'm tired of doing all the social media stuff. But at the same time, you basically want to go backwards. These same artists 15 years ago are the ones who were complaining about gatekeepers not being able to do things they want. Now it's a free range market, but you're complaining about the systems and the functions you have to do to survive in the market. You know what has not changed? This thing called being a business owner from 30, 40 years ago till now, with regards to the internet, then as what it is now. Functionally, the behavior of being a business owner has stayed the same. You wear many hats until you hire people who can functionally do those operations on your behalf. But at the end of the day, unless you have funding, you start out building those processes brick by brick. You learn each stage and functionally get the job done. But if you don't have a budget, then you don't have a right to complain, because at the end of the day, you're not positioning yourself to take the stress off of yourself. And considering social media is funding the money like no tomorrow, we really need to be focused on content schedules and getting your post game up to build that engagement so these labels will even look at you and give you this conversation you want, because you have what? A fan base, which equals negotiation power, because you can position the money yourself. But situations just be crazy like that.
Listen, if you don't know the business, that's totally fine. But don't come out here front like you do because you're giving out bad information. You don't have to. Is what I'm saying. That's all I really wanted to address for today is just focus on learning more information and ask the question why. One of the coldest things that were ever taught to me was from this guy. Theo, remember him? This guy named Harold. One of the coldest things he ever taught to me was the question is more important than the answer. That's a bar. And it's true. All right. Thank you guys for tuning in to episode 32 of the Capitalism and Art podcast. I appreciate you guys tuning in. Like I said, we're going to get back into the swing of things. Cite the source. Stop putting out bad information. Stop getting on the social media wave train and actually understand what you out here doing. And I promise you, you'll stop asking for favors. All right, y'all. My name is Hänz. This is Urban Waves.